Welcome to ACTUS Mentor, an AI-powered learning and contract generation platform for ACTUS. Our goal is to make learning ACTUS effortless and help you generate correct ACTUS contracts using natural language. Tested head-to-head against leading AI models, ACTUS Mentor outperformed both in every scenario. What is ACTUS? It stands for Algorithmic Contract Types Unified Standards, a global framework defining how every financial contract behaves algorithmically. The ACTUS principle involves inputting contract parameters and risk factors into the ACTUS engine to output deterministic cash flow events. It is essential to get contract definitions right for transparent and consistent financial ecosystems. 32 contract types, dozens of attributes, and precise formatting presents a significant challenge. General AI models like ChatGPT and Claude fail to produce valid ACTUS JSON request bodies. ACTUS Mentor is the specialized AI solution, teaching ACTUS and generating correct request bodies while presenting output in easy-to-understand ways. ACTUS Mentor was born from a student need. Students found the learning curve steep, facing 32 contract types and strict applicability rules. They needed a simpler way to understand ACTUS and generate correct requests. Mentor addresses this with features like smart dictionary navigation, applicability rule guidance, contract correctness checks, and multilingual understanding across 12 languages. ACTUS Mentor works in 3 stages. First, AI input generation translates natural language into valid ACTUS JSON, including precisely formatted risk factors, validated against the ACTUS data dictionary. Second, the ACTUS deterministic core computes cash flow events. Finally, AI Output Assist explains results and maps them to XBRL reports. A key principle is that AI never touches the deterministic computation, ensuring full auditability. ACTUS Mentor benefits professionals by providing production-ready ACTUS JSON on the first attempt. Students learn by doing, generating, and running real contracts to see cash flows in real time. Educators gain an AI teaching assistant. The ACTUS ecosystem benefits from accelerated global adoption, with support for 12 languages removing barriers worldwide, resulting in infinite global reach. Our unique innovations include an Agentic RAG on the ACTUS dictionary with 7 specialized agents and over 400 chunks of documentation. Applicability rules enforcement catches errors before server submission. Server-ready JSON output guarantees valid ACTUS JSON every time. We also offer integrated ACTUS tutoring and natural language support in 12 languages, breaking down barriers globally. In a head-to-head comparison, ACTUS Mentor proved its superiority by winning all 5 scenarios against ChatGPT and Claude. This demonstrates a fundamental difference in capability, as general AI models lack the deep ACTUS standards and knowledge base required for correct JSON generation. The AI Mentor architecture utilizes Agentic RAG. User queries are handled by specialized agents within a LangGraph framework, including a generator, grader, and retriever, among others. These agents interact with the MCP server, leveraging a Chroma database for data, and ultimately producing responses based on the ACTUS data dictionary. The codebase features 7 specialized agents and a LangGraph state machine with nodes, edges, and state management. Specialized prompts guide each agent, while an ingestion pipeline handles loading, chunking, and embedding the 442 chunks of the ACTUS dictionary into a Chrome DB vector store. The architecture includes a React front-end and MCP integration for protocol communication. It is open source. The user interface offers a chat interface for natural language contract generation and tutoring with real-time responses. Voice support allows hands-free interaction through voice input. Multi-language support includes 12 languages with full UI translation. Users can track contract history and monitor the agent monitoring process for full transparency into the AI's decision-making. The screenshot illustrates the user interface elements, including the MCP configuration, chat history, language switcher, user profile, attach files, and voice input capabilities, providing a seamless user experience. Experience ACTUS Mentor now. See the power of AI-driven ACTUS contract generation in action by accessing the interactive demonstration link.
Today, I'm going to show you a real-world comparison between 2 leading AI tools, ChatGPT and Claude.ai, but not for a generic task. We're going to test them on something very specific and technical, generating a valid ACTUS PAM financial contract. See how they perform. Here is the exact query I'm going to give to both tools. Generate a ACTUS PAM contract for a loan of $10,000 for 5 years at an interest rate of 5%, with U.S. Treasury rates as a risk factor rate of 1% per year. This is not a simple request. A valid ACTUS PAM contract has very specific attributes, a strict JSON structure, and it must be compatible with the ACTUS server to run correctly. So this is a strong test of how well each tool understands financial standards. Let me show you what happens when I give this query to ChatGPT. ChatGPT does give a response, and on the surface, it looks okay. It generates something that resembles a contract. But when you look closely at the contract attributes, you'll notice things are off. The field names may not match the exact ACTUS specification. The structure of the JSON is not fully correct. Some attributes are renamed or placed in wrong positions. And here's the real test. When I take this output and run it through Postman against the ACTUS server, I get an error in the response body. The server rejects it. So ChatGPT gave us something that looks like a contract, but it is not a valid, runnable ACTUS PAM contract. Now let's try the same query in Claude.ai, the standard version. Again, Claude gives a response. It tries to generate the contract. But the same problem exists here too. The contract attributes are not fully accurate to the ACTUS standard. The structure has inconsistencies. If I take this to Postman and hit the ACTUS server, I'll face similar issues. The response: both tools are trying, but they're working from general training data. They don't have access to the actual ACTUS contract database or the PAM specification rules. So what's the core problem here? ACTUS contracts are highly structured financial standards. Every attribute, from the contract type to the cycle anchor dates to the risk factor linkage, must follow exact naming and formatting rules. General purpose AI tools like ChatGPT and standard Claude.ai don't have the ACTUS specification database baked in. So they hallucinate attributes, rename fields, or generate structurally invalid JSON. This means you cannot directly use their output with a real ACTUS server. Now here's where things change completely. I'm using ACTUS Mentor, which is Claude AI connected to the actual ACTUS contract specification database through an MCP tool integration. I give the exact same query. Look at the response. The contract type is correctly identified as PAM, Principal at Maturity. Every attribute is named correctly as per the ACTUS standard. The interest rate, notional principal, maturity date, risk factor reference, all placed in the right fields, in the right JSON structure. This is because ACTUS Mentor doesn't guess. It queries the real ACTUS database, retrieves the correct contract definition, and builds the response based on verified specification data. Now the real proof: I take the JSON output from ACTUS Mentor, paste it into Postman, and send it to the ACTUS server, and we get a 200 OK response. The server accepts it. The contract runs. The cash flows are generated correctly. This is the key difference. It's not just about generating text that looks like a contract. It's about generating a valid, executable financial contract that a real financial system can process. Here's the ChatGPT output. Some ACTUS attribute names appear, but the applicability notation is missing or incorrect. Mandatory, optional, not applicable. That notation is absent. Attributes from other contract types are mixed in. This is hallucination attribute names that sound valid, notations that are guessed, contract boundaries that are ignored. Building an ANN contract from this output will result in validation failures. Same query, Claude standard version. The response is well formatted and reads confidently. But the core issue remains the ACTUS applicability rules. Matrix is not part of general training data. Notations are missing or incorrectly assigned. Attributes from other contract types appear here as well. Confident language does not equal correct data. Not reliable for ACTUS contract development. Same query, ACTUS Mentor. And here is where the difference becomes clear. ACTUS Mentor does not guess. It does not generate applicability rules from general financial knowledge. It queries the ACTUS contract specification database directly. The response returns the actual ANN applicability rules table from the official ACTUS standard. Look at the output. Mandatory attributes are correctly marked. Contract type, status date, contract role, initial exchange date, notional principal, nominal interest rate, cycle of principal redemption, all marked as mandatory, exactly as the ACTUS standard defines for ANN contracts. Optional attributes carry the correct notation. Fields like premium, discount, ATIED, cycle of interest payment, capitalization, end date correctly marked as optional. These are fields that can be included for more detailed modeling but are not required for a valid ANN contract. Non-applicable attributes are clearly excluded or marked as not applicable. Fields that belong to other contract types, like those specific to COM or swaps, do not appear in the ANN output. No mixing, no guessing. This is the critical difference. ChatGPT and Claude generate responses that look like applicability tables but contain incorrect notations and mixed contract type attributes. ACTUS Mentor retrieves from the actual standard. Every notation, mandatory, optional, not applicable, matches the official ACTUS data dictionary. With ACTUS Mentor, that does not happen. The output can be taken directly into contract development, validation, or audit workflows. No second guessing, no cross-referencing against documentation. The applicability rules are correct because they come from the source, not from probabilistic generation. This single scenario demonstrates why a specialized tool matters. General AI produces plausible-looking financial content. ACTUS Mentor produces correct ACTUS content.
Generate a PAN contract for 10,000 USD at 5.4%.
ACTUS Mentor now supports voice input. Type or speak, same output. Currently live on localhost. Hosted deployment coming in the next release. Clicking the mic button, the system starts listening. Speaking the query, generate a PAM contract for $10,000 at 5.4%. Voice captured, query processed. Correct PAM contract JSON returned. ACTUS server 200 OK. Same accuracy as a typed query, no difference in output. Voice input is live on local host today. End-to-end processing. Verified and working. Hosted environment coming in the next release. Speak the contract. Get the output. Zero typing required. This scenario covers one of the most powerful capabilities in ACTUS Mentor. Automated XBRL compliance report generation directly from a financial contract query. XBRL is the global standard for regulatory financial reporting, used by RBI, SEC, and other regulators worldwide. The question is, can AI generate a valid, structured XBRL report from a natural language query? I want to model a floating rate mortgage where the principal reduces every month and the interest resets every 6 months using LIBOR plus 200 basis points. Which ACTUS contract type should I use? Generate the full JSON. One query, one response. Watch what comes back. Now look at the XBRL compliance report section. ACTUS Mentor automatically maps the ACTUS server response into a fully structured XBRL compliance report. Key fields visible in the report: total events, 8, event types, IED, MD, IP, currency, USD, total interest, 2,500, reporting. Date, March 15th, 2026, taxonomy supported. IFRS plus USG AAP, two global regulatory taxonomies are supported simultaneously in a single report. IFRS XML, ready for international regulators. USGAAPXML, ready for SEC filing. Both can be downloaded separately or together using the download both button below the report. Cashflow visualizations for all 8 ACTUS events. The bar chart shows monthly cash flows, principal repaid versus interest paid, plotted across the 5-year timeline. Clear pattern visible, small green bars across the timeline. These are the interest payments happening every year. One large blue bar at the end. This is the principal repayment at maturity, which is the defining characteristic of a PAM contract. Principal at maturity. Moving to the next chart. Event, type breakdown, pie chart. IP, interest payment, 75% of events. IED, initial exchange date, 13%, MD, maturity date, 13%. And the line graph on the right shows interest payments. Over time, interest accumulates and stabilizes as expected under a fixed-rate PAM structure. All of this generated automatically from a single query. ACTUS Mentor accepts queries in regional languages. English is not required. Same output, same accuracy. Query typed in Tamil. Submitted to ACTUS Mentor. Response: correct. ACTUS contract JSON. Contract attributes: accurate and complete. ACTUS servers. Language changed. Output identical. Financial professionals across India and globally do not always work in English. Regional language support removes that barrier completely. Tamil, Hindi, Telugu, Arabic. Ask in any language. ACTUS say ACTUS. ACTUS Mentor understands and delivers accurate ACTUS contract output. The underlying contract standard does not change. Only the input language changes. ACTUS Mentor bridges the gap between regional accessibility and global financial standards. Now, Japanese. ACTUS Mentor supports multiple languages, not just one regional language, any language. Query typed in Japanese, ACTUS contract, different language, submitted to ACTUS Mentor. Response correct contract, JSON returned. Contract type, contract attributes accurate. Structure is valid. ACTUS server is 200 OK. Japanese query, English JSON output. Global financial standard intact. Japanese works. The language of the query does not affect the accuracy of the contract output. ACTUS. Mentor understands financial intent across languages and maps it correctly to the ACTUS specification. One system, multiple languages, one global financial standard. Any financial professional, regardless of language, can access ACTUS contract generation without switching to English. ACTUS Mentor speaks every language. ACTUS stays scared, chapters, standard remains. This is ACTUS Mentor MCP, an AI-powered financial contract assistant built on the ACTUS standard. This file is the entry point. Claude Desktop connects here. It loads the environment, sets the project root, and delegates everything to the MCP server with a single async run call. This is the most important file, tools.py. At the top, this dictionary defines all 32 official ACTUS contract types. PAM for principal at maturity, ANN for annuity, LAM for linear amortizer, covering all 3 families, basic, combined, and credit enhancement. Scrolling down, 6 MCP tools are registered here. Query ACTUS Mentor, generate ACTUS contract, search ACTUS standards, run ingestion, get contract types, and parse XBRL file. Below that is the call tool dispatcher. Each tool routes to the correct handler, either through the full agentic pipeline or directly into ChromaDB. Every response includes route taken, hallucination check, and sources. This is the brain, the Agentic RAG pipeline built with LangGraph. 9 nodes are registered here: router, retrieve, grade documents, generate, hallucination check, grade answer, rewrite, web search, and generate from web. Here's what makes this different from a simple RAG system. This edge, rewrite, connects back to retrieve. If the grader finds the documents irrelevant, it rewrites the query and retrieves again. A self-correcting loop. And here, after generation, it hits the hallucination check. If the answer is not grounded in the documents, it regenerates. This is not just retrieval augmented generation, it is Agentic RAG, with quality gates at every step. Now the knowledge base: 4 data collections, standards, example contracts about ACTUS and XBRL standards. Inside the standards folder, the official ACTUS dictionary, JSON files, dictionary, taxonomy, terms, events, and applicability rules, all chunked, embedded, and loaded into ChromaDB. The AI answers from verified official sources, not from general training data. Closing on the README: Python, React, Fast, API, LangGraph, Claude, Sonnet, and ChromaDB. Full stack, fully agentic, grounded in the ACTUS standard.
We have a functional end-to-end pipeline, which is a working minimum viable product, or MVP, translating natural language to ACTUS server execution. Student contributors from Indian universities, supported by ChainAim, form our team. In competitive analysis, our solution won every scenario head-to-head against ChatGPT and Claude. The prototype is fully operational, and the GitHub repository is accepting pull requests. Looking at our roadmap, the next steps include evaluating and open sourcing parts for ACTUS and expanding contract coverage to 32 types. We will deepen risk factors for credit spreads, FX, and commodity, and enhance tutoring with interactive exercises and quizzes. Finally, the voice feature issue in the deployment version will be fixed. Our future vision is to build the most accessible ACTUS learning and generation platform. ACTUS Mentor helps you learn ACTUS and generate correct contracts in your natural language. It's the only AI that understands ACTUS rules, is deterministic and fully auditable, and was born from student needs for global access. We support 12 languages and utilize 7 agents, all with one mission. ACTUS Mentor is very useful for quickly producing contract simulations.